This episode is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, the #1 seller of games and gaming accessories. And GatheringMagic.com, the #1 resource for Magic the Gathering news and articles.
Hi, my name is Sean, aka Swords to Plow, and this is my Balthor the Defiled deck. We'll start off here with the commander, Balthor the Defiled. He's really good for doing reanimation tricks. Gives you a level of redundancy, a level of hardiness against those Wrath of God effects. Really just a solid general all around for mono black. As we're going through these swamps, I'll just say, strengths of mono black are generally card draw, tutors of course. Mono black has the best tutors in the game. And recursion. Mono black's really good at abusing the graveyard, specifically with creatures. You'll notice I've chosen the same picture for most of these swamps. When we go with the monocolor deck, I think it really depends on what kind of mana your cards really need. There are a lot of cards in this deck that need double black mana, and so I have gone heavily into the swamp plan. Alright, and then we'll go on to, there's just a few utility lands in the deck. They're pretty important for how the deck runs though. To the point where I will tutor for them. Strip Mine, of course, against a guy as Cradle, Mystifying Maze, Tolarian Academy. It's always good to have just a little bit of land destruction in every game. I think Strip Mine's probably my one auto-include in all of my EDH decks. It's just really hard to find a reason not to play it. Cabal Coffers, as you saw, I have a lot of basic lands. Mana Acceleration is really good. I don't have a lot of ways to abuse it, but with the number of basics I run, it's hard not to run the Cabal Coffers there. An Arena, this is an interesting one. I haven't played it in an EDH deck. Outside of this one, you really need to have large creatures to be able to play with it correctly, or have some reanimation like Balthor allows to be able to just give up your own creatures. This one's really good because all my creatures have a power of 2 or greater for the most part, so it takes out most of the problem generals. It's good to have removal as just a land. Then we have Phyrexian Tower. Phyrexian Tower is good as a sack outlet a lot of times. The one extra black that you get from it isn't really relevant, but being able to save your creatures from, say, a Maelstrom Pulse, or really any targeted removal that would exile them, is good. I'd rather have them go to the graveyard than be removed from the game. Then Volrath Stronghold. This one's become more popular in Legacy lately. Always a good commander card. Really efficient recursion for what it does. You have to be careful when you use it. You don't want to put things on top of the library when you're trying to top deck something else. But for the most part, that's not really an issue. Alright, and we get into the core of the deck. Yeah, probably should have spoiled this ahead of time. This is a Relentless Rats deck. There are 35 rats in the deck. And really, this is all you want to be doing. Is turn 2, turn 3, drop a rat, turn 4, drop a rat, turn 5, turn 6, drop a rat or 2. They get big, they put some pressure on. This is a great deck to play against newer players. It gives them a clock that they can work with. Really, if your deck can't deal with the Relentless Rats deck, that's probably not very good and you need to figure out something else to do. I didn't get them all in the same edition. I wasn't really picky about what rats I got. They can run you anywhere between 25 cents and $1 right now. I'll choose the 25-cent ones where possible. This is just a fun, easy deck to build. The best part about this is the reaction you get the first time somebody sees a Relentless Rat at the table. You know, they haven't seen it before, they think it's a gimmick, and then a little bit later into the game they realize, oh man, maybe I do have to deal with those rats. Alright, and now, Coat of Arms is kind of funny. This is just doubling up on the Relentless Rat power. I've had this Korean one for a little while, always wanted to find a place for it. Generally I go with foils, but I have a soft spot in my heart for Korean. And giving everything +2/+2 for each rat in play, it helps. This has become relevant more often than not. I won't tutor for it, but still solid to have. And of course, Thrumming Stone. Relentless Rat deck, this is your combo piece right here. If you get Thrumming Stone out, get rats out, you're generally going to win the game. Or they're going to have to Wrath, Balthor brings them back. Not too many games this has come out that I haven't won. Then we have Eldrazi Monument. Eldrazi Monument's a cool card. I don't really have token generators, But again, with Balthor being able to recur, I don't mind sacking every now and then. The biggest part of this, more than the indestructibility, is the flying and the boost to power. Being able to use this as a black overrun. It's a really nice ability. Then we just have some mana acceleration. I've been trying Plague Mirror in a lot of my decks. Most decks I've tried them and they just haven't been worse without them. Every now and then the infect makes a difference. If somebody else is on the infect plan, being able to finish somebody off is really nice. Otherwise, it's just a mana rock like a Mind Stone or Everflowing Chalice is. Not a bad slot, really. Cage Sun. I put this in a lot of places where you had the Gauntlet in before. I like that it doesn't help other people. I'm happy to pay one extra to be able to get something that doesn't help my opponents out. You never know when you're going to be playing against another black deck, so it's nice to have some doubling that doesn't help them. Solemn Simulacrum. In non-green decks, it's good to have something that searches up some more land, especially with the Cage Sun. I like to put some extras into play. Collusion Relic. It's a little bit of mana acceleration, a little bit of consistency. In the rare chance that I draw a couple of my non-basic lands, it'll fix that up real quick. Then Expedition Map. I have no way to recur it, so I've got to be choosy about what I get. More often than not, I'm getting Arena or Strip Mine, something that's an answer. I guess I really have a lot of cards in hand. I can always go for the Cabal Coffers, but I really don't use the Cabal Coffers, so normally Strip Mine or Arena. Mind Stone. No reason not to play it unless you're playing a 3+ color deck. Being able to draw a card every now and then after accelerating is nice. This is to accelerate into Thrumming Stone in those perfect cased hands. Otherwise, being able to cast 2 rats on turn 4 is a nice thing to do, so that's what it's there for. Everflowing Chalice, just a nice mana rock. Gives me an outlet for that Cabal Coffers late game, just to store some things up. You never know when you just need a lot of colorless mana to throw Balthor out late game and you've cast him for the 4th or 5th time. That's what Everflowing Chalice does for you. Soul Ring, I think we all know what that does and how good it is. Darksteel Ingot, not quite as good as Collusion Relic, but it's shiny, so it's pretty. It produces black. Cold Diamond is probably a better choice, but I didn't have one in foil, so it's going to cut. Bloodgift Demon, one of my favorite cards from the new block. The Phyrexian Arena, flying with legs. 5/4 is not a small body, so really liked it. Graveborn Muse, I like to have as many Phyrexian Arena effects in the deck as possible, so Graveborn Muse filled that. It can draw 2 with Balthor, so it helped put it in the deck. Oh, yeah, the one and only Phyrexian Arena. Always good. Beseech the Queen. You're going to get a rat or a Thrumming Stone most of the time. Every now and then you're going to get an Eldrazi Monument for the overrun effect. It's an okay basic tutor. And mono black, you're always going to be paying the cheaper cost of it, so that's nice. Ratcatcher. Well, as I said, more than anything else, this deck wants to play rats. And Ratcatcher does what you want it to do, which is consistently give you rats to play. And then we have Diabolic Tutor. Get anything you want. This one's really cool with Balthor, Demonic Collusion. Lets you discard 2 cards to buy it back. A lot of times what you can do is buy it back, go get a coat of arms, then play Balthor and play the 4 to 6 rats you've discarded to go searching for things. Demonic Tutor, I don't think this one needs any explanation. Probably the best tutor, or one of the best tutors in the game. Liliana Vess is actually an interesting case. I've been trying to use her +1 ability recently. I've seen her ultimate go off a number of times now. Rats are actually surprisingly good defenders. And late game, if you can get her ultimate to go off, it is just a beating. And Sorin Markov, this guy's really not fair in Commander. When you're playing an aggro deck, every now and then you just need to knock somebody down to 10 life and swing on through. Sheoldred. This is really to work with the Eldrazi Monument. Being able to reanimate a rat each turn is good for keeping that thing going. And making your opponent sacrifice creatures is nice, especially when you're trying to deal with something like Earl the Miststalker. The deck doesn't have a lot of answers to things, so it's kind of good to have a reanimate and answer on a stick with the little slots you have left. Then Steel Hellkite, one of my favorite artifact creatures. This deals with enchantments. There are very few things in this deck that deal with enchantments, but this is one of them. Also deals with those pesky hordes of tokens when we're playing Horde. Horde against rats is always a kind of funny game. All is Dust, another one that deals with enchantments, deals with artifacts, deals with those things that black normally isn't good at dealing with, and deals with them in mass. I'm perfectly okay with losing my rats if it means that you lose all your planeswalkers. Nevinyrral's Disc. You know, again, dealing with things that black's normally not good at dealing with, you got to turn to the colorless answers. The problem I have in Nev Disc is that you can't use it right away. I've been considering removing this and putting an O-Stone, so we'll see how that goes. And Sever the Bloodline. I include this in here mostly because I'm afraid of it. Against token decks, it's a beating. Against this deck, it's really threatening. I don't want to see anybody play this against me. But targeted creature removal and get rid of something like Blightsteel Colossus. Anything that can block forever isn't good for me, so this gets rid of those. Thanks for watching CMDR decks. Please subscribe and favorite.